Welcome in for another episode of Henny Goes Outside. Thanks for stopping by. Tonight we are going to set up here on top of this here mountain. The day hasn't gone quite the way I thought it would go. I'll get into more of that later. But we're going to go ahead and set up the tent. I bought another new tent. This is the last one for quite some time. It is the Gazelle T4 Overland, like the extended season tent that they have. I'll go over that a little bit more later, but first we gotta get this set up. We probably have maybe an hour to an hour and a half of daylight tops, and we got a lot of stuff that I gotta set up and get going. Most importantly, I gotta get this tent up, and then I gotta cook myself some dinner. All right, everybody. Like I said, I had to do a quick little setup. It's been a day. I thought I had a place figured out that I wanted to go to, and when I got there, it wasn't quite what I had expected. So I scrambled to try to find a place to go, and ended up here, which was probably about an hour away from my original spot. I also got started a little late on the day as well, so that didn't help me with anything. So by the time I finally got here, it was probably like 7 o'clock. So we're gonna cook a dinner real quick. I've already got the fire going over there as well, just because I was trying to get everything done when I had daylight still. So we're gonna get something cooked up here. Actually, I am kind of nervous to see what's going to happen with my dinner. Because I brought eggs to do breakfast for dinner. Also, I'm going to try my best to do breakfast. Okay, nice. It survived the bumps. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, so first thing I'm going to cook up here is this little ball of sausage that I have. Essentially, I think I'm just going to do a couple of eggs mixed in with the sausage, just because of the time that it is. I do have other stuff. Like I said, hopefully I'm feeling like making breakfast tomorrow. My trash bag's in the truck. Hopefully I'm feeling like making breakfast tomorrow. And I'll do some more eggs. And then I do have something else in there as well, which that's actually a lot more sausage than I thought it would be. So yeah, we'll do this up. I'm going to fry this up into crumbles, and then throw a couple of eggs in there and probably just do like a pan scramble. And then that's going to be a nice dinner. Had I gotten here earlier, I was going to do something a little bit more elaborate for dinner. But as of now, because it's getting dark out, we're just going to go with a couple of eggs, some sausage, and that'll be it for tonight on the dinner stuff. Yeah, let me go get a trash bag. And the whole point of cooking this first is so I can use the grease with the eggs. I probably should have used one of the bigger pots. Let me get a trash bag real quick. All right. This wrapper in there. Close this up. And I'm absolutely starving right now. I haven't eaten since, like I said, about 9 a.m. this morning. 8:39, so we're getting close to 12 hours since I last ate. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is like a maple sausage. So we'll be cooking under the setting sun. What kind of moon do we have? We don't have, I don't think we have any moon. Unless it's behind the tent and I can't see it. So it might be, what do they call that, a new moon? Which means hopefully I'll be able to see some stars tonight. But yeah, as I had said, like, we're gonna, I guess, maybe condense a couple of things here as part of the cooking. I know I usually don't show you guys the whole cooking deal, but as I said, I bought the Gazelle T4, like their expanded season tent. I have bought it because number one, I like pop-up tents. Those things are nice for me, make things easy. And as much as I love my cape tent, I do miss being able to stand up in it. So I got this because it does allow me to stand up in it. Plus they also have a couple of features which I can't use right now, but in the future I might be able to use it. Basically it's got like exhaust, like a, not exhaust ports, but like little ports that you can stick like a diesel heater in, or if you had some type of like air conditioning, you could put that in there and run that. Also, like, all the mesh panels zip up, so if it does happen to be cold, it can help you retain the heat. And then if it's like a nice night, you know, like a nice summer night, you can unzip all the panels and let the air flow through everything. So yeah, and it's a huge tent. So at some point, whenever Liz and Kelso are going camping with me, you know, we'll all be able to fit in there without any issues. We're going to be able to set it up, and it says 90 seconds. It's definitely a little bit more than that. Probably if you do the initial pop out of it, that's probably about 90 seconds. But once you put on the like to put on the rain fly and to stake it out, that takes a few more minutes from there. Yeah, so we're testing it out. I don't think it's gonna rain. Like I said, I had planned on going to a different spot, and that spot didn't have any forecast for rain. But as I was driving in, I could see like it had freshly rained, like on the part that was still paved even up here, and then you could tell that it had rained recently because there wasn't fresh tire tracks. Like you can see the tire tracks have been, I guess, kind of washed away by rain. So yeah, that's so like we're in, like I said, that's the reason why we're here. I'm rambling on. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow, since it is dark, like I'll give like a dark tour, like whenever we're inside of it here later on tonight. I'll give a little update on the inside of it there. I still need to set up my bed and all that, so we'll be doing that here a little bit later on. Man, we'll just use our Big old spoon for this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you see this? Kind of. Probably doesn't look like the most appetizing thing in the world, but I'm starving, so at this point in time, anything's gonna be good, right? Yep, it was maple sausage that I had. It's not bad. In terms of getting something together and throwing it together real fast, so that way I can eat, it's gonna work. All right, I'm gonna eat my eggs and sausage here. I will come back in a little bit next to the fire. Welcome on back. First, I want to apologize that this feels rushed for this video. Like I said, ran into a few logistical problems trying to get a camping site tonight. The initial area that I went to was not it. I drove out there thinking I was going to find a good spot. The one spot that would have been nice to go to, you know, my truck is not kitted out for anything off-road wise, and there was no way I was going to get to that spot to camp there. And then everything else was like right on the road. Wasn't anything worth like staying at for it to be on the road, like to do like a YouTube video. Like it'd probably be like if I were to go back there and not do a YouTube video. There was one campsite that was like right next to a hiking trail that went to like some type of rock formation. I think it was like the Devil's Table or something like that. Like I would stay there just because of the proximity to that trail. So you could hike that trail and go see that scenery and then come back. But it's not something I would go and do a YouTube video for. Like I know last week's video, I was right on the road. That place wasn't busy at all though, really. And then I also was like right on a creek. And then to be honest with you, if it would have been hotter outside, I could have went swimming in the creek. That's how deep it was in the particular area that I was at. Also, the campsite itself was pretty big. Like everything that I was passing by that wasn't taken already, like I could have got my truck in there, and that's about it. Like, and there wasn't like really any trees to string up the hammock, and I definitely couldn't put that tent in there. Shoot, I can't even see that tent right now because of the color of it, and the fact I don't have any lights on inside of it. But yeah, so the Canaan Loop is definitely not something I'm going to try to do for YouTube. Like I said, that's something maybe I'll take a gander at if I just want to go camping, like off camera. You know, Liz, myself, and Kelso go out there at some point in time to hike out there. And plus, that place was really freaking busy. So if I would have been on the road, there would have been constantly cars going by, people going by. Like I drove by so many people. Like I drove by a bunch of people that were doing the off-roading thing with their vehicles, mountain bikers, hikers, all kinds of stuff. So it was probably not the best spot for a YouTube video compared to here. Basically, we're on top of this big old plain. This was a place I was originally going to save for a winter camp, just because it is out in the open. And like if it's like 80, 90 degrees outside or whatever, you don't want to be sitting out in the sun for that time frame. So yeah, I just decided to come up to this spot. This is in the Mower Basin area, once again, which was about an hour from where the original spot was going to be at. But we found this. Unfortunately, I got here a little late, so I didn't really have time to set up the shots for the scenery and all that stuff. Like, it's a beautiful view out there, and we'll definitely get some of that in the morning, which is part of the reason why I want to do breakfast in the morning, just so I can give you guys more of a view, more of like a sight, because this is gorgeous out here. And also, I didn't realize it, but there's some water down there. I can hear like a creek or something down there. that's going, so that's a nice little bonus to have tonight while I'm sleeping. Drinking another Wheeze in the Juice. Still had some of those left over from Michigan, savoring them just because, you know, I go to Michigan at this rate. I went this year. I went for Christmas of 2023. So we're kind of going like once a year now. We're gonna try to get there once a year. Going forward, I would go long periods of time without going to Michigan. But now we're gonna try to get there at least once a year, if not twice. Let's see. On my running, I know last time I was here bragging about doing a 10:59. I dropped that down a few seconds. On Wednesday I went for a run and got to a 10:36. I think my fastest ever mile would have probably been somewhere in the 6-minute range. I didn't have like an official time or anything like that, but back at my peak fitness levels when I was in the military, I ran like an 8:59 mile and a half, and that was like just enough to give me like the max score. I think like the max was like a 9-minute or less for a run at that time. So I did that, and so that leads me to believe, like, you know, I was averaging about a 6-minute mile at my peak. Before the summer is out, I would like to get down to like 10, like under 10, in the hopes that like my daily average, like I'm not pushing myself, pace is going to be somewhere like in the 9-minute range, and then we'll start working on building up the speed and the endurance. Try to do a couple 5Ks maybe next summer. Yeah, goals. Let's see what else. I remember one of my videos, I kept on saying, like, I seen a bunch of people like dogs in the back of their truck. Last video on the way out, I seen somebody with a truck that had like the dogs and stuff like that, and I stopped and asked the guy, like, hey, like, what are you guys doing? And basically they're training dogs to hunt bears and stuff like that, and maybe other things as well. But that guy said training for bear hunting. So I finally figured out that mystery. Also, these last couple of trips, I've found myself forgetting things. Last trip, I can't remember what it was. I forgot. But I was at the grocery store getting my stuff for the trip, like my dinner and stuff like that, and I remembered it, so I went back home and got it. And it's not like the store I go to is far away. At least whenever I'm coming like out this way, it's on the way here. So I got to backtrack, you know, that 5-10 minutes to go get whatever it is and then come back. But today I was at the store buying the wood and ice, and I realized I forgot my wallet. Luckily my phone has tap to pay, so I was still able to buy the wood and ice. I did happen to have a couple of different 6-packs of beer in the cart, which I had to put back because they need to scan your ID. So I went back to the house, got my wallet. I got some honey cinnamon butter, which was I was originally intending to use for the dinner tonight, but it's also part of the reason why, like, I want to, you know, do breakfast tomorrow, because I feel like I'm shorting you guys out of some stuff here by basically showing up at pretty much dark and then doing everything. So I got that. There was one other thing I forgot as well, and I grabbed that, but I still ended up forgetting my thermocell, where the battery operated thermocell, that's actually still charging at the house. So yeah, keep on keep on forgetting something or another. Yeah. Let's see, what else do I have? What else do I have? Been trying to make notes about things. I'm gonna have to remember on the way back home. For some reason, they're doing a weird traffic pattern where they're doing some construction. For some reason, the lanes switch. So, like, instead of driving on the right-hand side like you do in the United States, you end up driving on the left-hand side. But it's not like there's two-way traffic on that side, like typical road construction here. They have everybody go to one lane and it becomes like a two-way street on that one side. No, it's like they have you cross over, and then the left lane goes, you know, to where you want to go, and then the right lane becomes the other way. So I don't know why they're doing that, why they're repairing this road or updating this road. It seems kind of strange to me to do that. It doesn't seem like it should have anything to do with getting on to like the expressway type area that they're working on around there. Because if I'm not mistaken, you can get onto it from both sides to go either direction. Because previously they might have had, no, I can't really remember if it was like a grass in the middle or not. Maybe not, probably not. But yeah, I could have sworn, man, I'll have to double check it tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure you can get onto that expressway, interstate, whatever it is, from both sides. So for some reason they make people switch lanes, and then you cross back over after you get across that overpass. It's weird. It's weird stuff. If you work road construction, let me know why they might be doing that. And then in a bit of sad news in the local neighborhood, I guess the local area, there was an explosion at the U.S. Steel plant. That's probably, well, if you go straight line and stuff like that, not counting roads, it's maybe like 2 or 3 miles from the house. But the explosion, from what it was reported, killed 2 people, injured a bunch of others. Definitely like a sad moment in the area, for the area. I know people always say thoughts and prayers to everybody, and those don't really do a whole lot, but you know, my condolences to the 2 families, you know, that lost one of their family members. All right, welcome on in for the nightcap. We're still wheezing the juice. That's the only ones I brought tonight. Like I said, I couldn't pick up the other 2 6-packs that I was looking at, and I didn't stop back at the store before heading on out. But yeah, so we're just sticking with these for the night. But yeah, I think for tonight's nightcap, we're gonna talk about some video games. As you guys already know, I like to play the video games. I even have put the Steam Deck, like me playing the Steam Deck out here a couple of times while camping. Obviously I don't have like a setup where I can hook it up to like a streaming device to put it on the camera and stuff like that, but yeah, I will sit there and play it. But one of the reasons why I really like video games is it's an escape from the realities of the world. You know, kind of like comic books and stuff like that. It's a way to be something that is pretty much impossible, right? Because as far as we know, you know, nobody can really fly. All that stuff you see in action movies, if you try to do that in real life, you're probably going to die. Stuff like that. Like, it's just a nice little time for me to to, I guess, disconnect from things that are happening in the real world. And I just happen to love them. It all started probably like when I was probably like 4. I remember playing my cousin's Atari in Florida. That was the first time I played a video game, and then whenever we moved to Michigan, and like we got a place that the neighbors across the street, they had a Nintendo, and I'd always be over there playing Nintendo. And then finally, my dad got me a Nintendo. He'd always get pissed off on like Saturday mornings because he bought me the Nintendo, and like the game that it came with was like the Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and the track and field, and they had like a little pad. So it'd be like 8 in the morning, and I'd have the little pad out, and I'd be running on it, you know, sprinting and all that stuff to play the track and field game and waking him up. He'd get mad at that. Yeah. So like basically, for what? I'm 41. Let's say I was actually able to comprehend a video game when I was probably like 6, you know, playing Mario Brothers. So, you know, 89, 90. So let's just say I've been actively enjoying video games since at least like 1990. And having a good time. And one of my all-time favorites, and some people might say it's overrated, Final Fantasy VII. Prior to playing that, like I was always just playing, like platformers, your Mario Brothers, your Crash Bandicoots, stuff like that. And actually, I don't know if Crash Bandicoot came up before or after that, but I was definitely doing like platformers, some action-y type games. Yeah, but Final Fantasy kind of branched me off into like the role-playing stuff and all of that. And then I would say, what would have been Xbox 360 got it, like the first person, like I know 007 64 was probably like one of the all-time great first-person shooters, but like the realism probably didn't really start until about Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 time frame. And that's when I started doing like the shooters and stuff like that. Grand Theft Auto's always been a good one. I will debunk anybody that tries to say that video games cause violence. I will disagree with that statement, and I will say the reason why I am not violent is because of video games. It allows me to take out my aggression in a safe manner, as opposed to an unsafe manner. Feeling that flame right now. But yeah, currently, as you know, looking forward to Battlefield 6 coming up here in October. When I am able to play games, I do like sports games. So I've been playing college football 26 off and on. Whenever I have a chance. Been playing the Ninja Gaiden game as well. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it at the moment. Star Citizen I've kind of slowed down on. But there will be a time when I get back to that one. Just not at the moment. But yeah, I mean, that's my nightcap. If you play video games, what's some of your favorite games? I know one person that did make a comment on here said that they like Division 2 on their scale of things. Wasn't a bad game. I think I got tired out from Division 1. So when I got to Division 2, I basically made it to the end of the story, and that was it. But yeah, if you play games, what type of games do you play? What's your favorite? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, keep on gaming for those that game. Alright everybody, I've got the tent set up. There's so much room in here. I mean, there's like right now there's a spot the camera's at. That's like a 2-foot strip. My cot's right here with the air mattress on it. As you can see, I got the chair in here. I got one of my crates in here, using it as a table. All my extra junk's over here, which I think you can see it on the camera. My cooler. Like I said, there's so much space in here. So like the initial impressions in terms of space, it's killing it. I also like the fact that I can literally stand up in here. If I did stand up, you wouldn't see me. It'd cut me out of there, but definitely like tents that I can stand up in. Especially when it comes to like getting dressed in the mornings and stuff like that. It just makes it so much easier. Yeah, I mean, space wise, this thing is it. It has it. I'm not gonna be able to test it in any type of elements as of right now, with the exception of the vents up here. All the other vents are closed at the moment. Definitely is going to be one of those things that if I know I'm going to have the space, I'm probably going to start using this more often. And then, you know, hopefully I'll get a rain shower somewhere so I can test the waterproofness of it. I guess the only real concern I'd have in terms of the waterproofness is on the door. There's like that much of the zipper exposed. And it's like, well, I'm sitting by the other door, or blocking the other door. Am I? Yeah. So like if this was the door, it'd be like right here on there. So it's like just like a little 1-inch spot where it looks like rain could possibly get in through that. But yeah, I mean, as a first impression, it's a nice sized tent. I mean, you've seen in the Cape tent where I would literally have the cot and all that set up. I'd have a chair next to it, and I'd literally be like, that's all the space I would have. Yeah, this thing is literally, you could definitely get two to three of the cots that I have in it. I mean, if you put 3 cots in here, you're not gonna have much space to walk around, but yeah, definitely a nice little shindig. Alright, we're packed up, ready to go. Only things left are packing up the camera, getting myself in the truck, closing the tailgate, and heading on down the road to head home. If you made it this far, I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, please. Like, leave comments, questions. Like I said, I've said in other videos, I'm still a small channel, so if you're leaving a comment or something like that down there, I'm generally pretty good at getting back to you. On my end, this video felt rushed, just because of circumstances to get here, which I've went over earlier in the video. And if it seems like that to you guys, I do apologize. We're trying to get a new spot. It just didn't work out for me this week. But I will continue to try to look for new spots and exploring those. Once again, once we get to 500 subscribers, there will be a stealth camp. My first stealth camp, whenever that comes to that milestone. So as you guys keep on watching, keep on building the channel, we're inching ever closer to that. But that'll be it for this video. I do appreciate everybody that does stop by, gives me a watch. Until the next one, have a good one.